She whispered one final spell, and then everything went dark. Iron Man stood over Scarlet Witch's body, shaking, armor cracked, heart torn. The Avengers froze. None of them saw it coming. She was losing control, Tony muttered. I had no choice. But the skies cracked open before anyone could respond. A voice thundered from above. No choice? You chose murder, Stark. Hovering in the clouds, Superman, eyes glowing, fury in his breath. The Justice League had arrived, and they weren't here to talk. It started with a flicker in the sky, just a blink, barely noticeable. But Tony saw it. He'd been tracking Wanda for weeks. Every scan, every anomaly, every spike in magical radiation, it all led here. A collapsing timeline on the edge of Earth, 616, warped by chaos magic no machine could predict. Scarlet Witch stood alone, barefoot on cracked stone, her hands trembling, her eyes glowing red. Around her, time folded in on itself. Birds flew backward, mountains reversed their erosion, and whole cities flickered between ruin and perfection. Reality wasn't breaking, it was bleeding. Tony's voice crackled through his helmet. Wanda, it's me. You have to stop. She turned. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. The world behind her pulsed with echoes of universes that should never have touched. A version of New York with 3 moons, a version of Wakanda floating in space, a version of Earth ruled by Ultron, all layered behind her like shattered mirrors. Wanda was trying to fix something, or destroy everything trying. I don't want to hurt anyone, she whispered, but the world was already screaming. Tony sent the signal. The failsafe activated. Project Red Silence online. From orbit, Stark's satellite released an invisible pulse. In theory, it was designed to cancel chaos magic in a 100-mile radius. In practice, it only made Wanda panic. Her eyes widened, and the skies turned crimson. She screamed, and thousands of voices screamed with her, echoing across timelines. And then it happened. She launched forward, not attacking, but trying to escape into the multiverse again. That's when Tony did the unthinkable. A direct chess beam. Full power. Target, Wanda Maximoff. Not to contain, not to stun, to kill. 1 second she was screaming. The next she was still. The chaos collapsed in on itself. The bleeding stopped. The world went quiet. Tony landed beside her, armor scorched, heart racing. I had no choice, he whispered. She was going to unravel everything. Steve Rogers stepped forward, shield on his back, eyes full of disbelief. You executed an Avenger. She was a nuke, Steve. You saw what she was becoming. I saw a woman begging for help. But before Steve could say another word, the skies ripped open. A sonic boom shattered every window within 10 miles. A blur descended from the clouds, faster than thought, heavier than judgment. Superman landed like a meteor, his red eyes locked onto Tony. Behind him, Wonder Woman, Batman, Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, the core of the Justice League. And they weren't here for diplomacy. She was under multiversal protection, Superman growled. She was ours to handle. Tony raised both hands, not in surrender, but readiness. I didn't see your help when she started tearing time apart. She needed guidance, not an execution. Diana snapped, sword already drawn. Cap stepped between them. We can talk this out. No one else needs to die. Batman didn't blink. That's already up to Stark. For a second, one horrible second, the air stood still. Everyone watching knew what was coming. This wasn't an argument anymore. This was a declaration. The Justice League turned to leave. But before they did, Superman said 5 words that felt heavier than any weapon. He will answer for this. That night, the Avengers compound locked down. Thor stood watch over the skies, Stormbreaker humming in his grip. Banner went dark. No one had seen him since Wanda fell. Strange meditated in silence, scanning every echo of her magic for a sign, but found nothing. Tony sat in the command room, alone, replaying the moment. Frame by frame, the scream, the pulse, her eyes. Did she say something right before it hit? Did she curse him? Or thank him? He didn't know. He just knew the world didn't break. That had to count for something. Right? Wrong. Because on the other side of the multiverse, Zatanna stood before the Mirror of Souls and saw a thread still pulsing. Wanda's essence hadn't vanished. It had been redirected, somewhere deeper, somewhere darker. Back on Earth, Flash breached into the Avengers satellite network, disabling 3 of Stark's AI protocols in under 10 seconds. Green Lanterns locked down dimensional exits. Cyborg launched a digital blackout of S.H.I.E.L.D. data systems. One by one, the League made their move, not with bombs or punches, but with pressure, until Batman made the first strike. A targeted EMP disrupted the arc reactor grid in Manhattan. Power across 5 boroughs collapsed. Hospitals flickered. Towers fell dark. And Iron Man knew exactly who was responsible. The message was clear: you're not untouchable, Stark. Tony tried to retaliate, but Cap warned him, if we respond in kind, this becomes war. Tony clenched his jaw. It already is. Thor landed with news from the Bifrost. The Themyscira is preparing for battle. Wonder Woman has called upon the old gods. Steve shook his head. We're not ready for a fight like this. But the fight didn't wait. That morning, a blast lit up the skies above Metropolis. A cloaked Quinjet fired a pulsed cannon at what it thought was an empty tower. It wasn't. Superman pulled 4 Avengers from the wreckage himself, barely restraining his heat vision. You bring war to my city, he growled. Black Widow, injured, just said one thing before blacking out. We never fired first. But the world wouldn't wait for proof. In Wakanda, Black Panther refused to choose sides, offering sanctuary to both League and Avengers alike. But even he knew neutrality wouldn't last long, because something was coming, something Wanda left behind. That night, across every mirror, shadow, and screen, a voice whispered, not in words, but in emotion. Rage, sorrow, betrayal, magic. And for one split second, everyone felt it. Scarlet Witch wasn't done. The world didn't explode when the war began. It held its breath. News feeds across the planet glitched, cutting between Stark satellites falling from orbit, Green Lantern constructs sealing the upper atmosphere, and civilians screaming as reality itself seemed unsure whose side it was on. Governments didn't declare anything. They didn't need to. When gods argue, mortals just run. Captain America stood in the Avengers command room, fists clenched, staring at the hologram of Scarlet Witch's last energy signature. It hadn't faded. It had curled inward, like something retreating instead of dying. She's not gone, Dr. Strange said quietly. She's displaced. Tony didn't respond. He was already building. Nanotech streamed around him in furious precision. New armor layers, new contingencies, new weapons meant for beings he never wanted to fight. Superman won't stop, Natasha said, blood still staining her suit. Not after what he saw. Tony's voice was cold. Then neither will I. Above Earth, Superman hovered motionless, listening. He could hear every heartbeat on the planet. Panic, fear, rage, and beneath it all a distortion. Chaos magic didn't vanish. It echoed, and that echo felt wrong. Batman watched him from the watchtower, arms folded. You're hesitating. She was unstable, Superman said. But Stark didn't try to save her. He decided, Batman replied. And now the world will pay for one man's certainty. Before Superman could answer, alarms flared. A rift tore open above the Atlantic, crimson, jagged, alive. Lightning screamed outward, bending gravity. Dr. Strange felt it instantly. Zatanna felt it worse. That's not a breach, Zatanna whispered. That's a wound. Thor arrived first. Bifrost lightning split the sky as he hurled Stormbreaker into the rift, trying to seal it. Instead, the axe was rejected, thrown back like a toy. From within the tear came whispers, familiar, painful. Wanda's voice layered over itself, fractured and furious. I saved you all and you chose him. Every hero felt it. Every villain smiled. The Flash was the first to move. He ran into the rift, trying to stabilize the time stream before it collapsed. He made it 3 steps in before something grabbed him, not physically, but emotionally. Every regret, every loss, every second he wished he could undo. He screamed and vanished. Superman charged without thinking. Tony fired a warning shot across his path. Not a kill beam. A line in the sky. "Don't," Tony said. "That thing isn't her anymore." Superman turned slowly. "You don't get to decide that again." The punch came faster than sound. Iron Man crashed through 3 miles of atmosphere before regaining control. The shockwave flattened coastline. Thor answered with lightning. Wonder Woman joined midair, blades sparking against repulsor fire. The war everyone feared finally broke open. Captain America leapt between titans, shield absorbing a strike that would have split continents. "Stop. This is exactly what she wanted." No one listened. Green Lantern swarmed the skies, containing Thor while Hulk finally emerged, rage incarnate, colliding with Shazam in a thunderclap that shattered clouds. Batman deployed countermeasures designed specifically for Avengers, because of course he had. Iron Spider drones fell from the sky like metallic rain, and through it all, the rift grew wider. Inside it, something watched. Doctor Strange and Zatanna finally joined forces, casting together Marvel magic and DC sorcery colliding in a storm of symbols and spells. What they saw made them freeze. Wanda Maximoff wasn't dead. She was ascending. Her body was gone, but her essence had fused with the chaos dimension itself. No longer bound by flesh, no longer restrained by grief. She wasn't Scarlet Witch anymore. She was chaos incarnate. She's feeding on the conflict, Strange said in horror. Every punch, every death, every betrayal, it's making her stronger. Zatanna swallowed. Then this war ends the universe. Batman finally understood. She engineered this. Tony heard it all, and something inside him cracked. Not guilt, not fear, resolve. He flew straight toward the rift, armor reconfiguring, arc reactor flaring brighter than ever before. "Then I'll finish what I started." Superman grabbed him mid-flight. "If you cross that line again, Stark." "I already crossed it," Tony snapped. "I'm just the only one willing to live with it." Below them, cities burned. Heroes bled. The world watched its protectors tear each other apart. And deep within the rift, Wanda smiled, not with joy, but vindication. "Let them fight," her voice echoed across reality. "Let them prove me right." Because the war wasn't about justice anymore. It was about who gets to decide the fate of existence. And in part 3, someone will die for real. The Earth wasn't just trembling anymore, it was changing. Above the Atlantic Rift, where Scarlet Witch's power now tore through the layers of reality like paper, physics no longer mattered. The sky was cracked, the oceans floated upward, and colors bled in reverse. This wasn't magic anymore. It was willpower given form. Wanda's will. Superman was bleeding. That didn't happen often. Thor's lightning had scorched Diana's shield. Iron Man's suit was barely holding charge. And deep below them all, in a forgotten bunker in Wakanda, Bruce Banner screamed as Hulk tried to claw his way back out. But even rage had its limits. "You don't get it," Strange shouted, holding the crimson bands around the rift. "Every second we fight, we feed her. She's become a siphon for conflict, grief, war." Zatanna's spells flickered. It's not enough to stop the battle. Someone has to break the cycle. But it was already too late. Batman activated Protocol Omega, hidden across the globe. Contingency weapons designed to take down any metahuman, friend or foe, powered up. Cap's comm lit up. Stark servers had been hacked. But not by Bruce. Not by S.H.I.E.L.D. By Luthor. Lex had been watching everything. He saw gods fighting over scraps of morality and knew exactly what to do. He uploaded a virus directly into the Watchtower's orbit cannon, aimed straight at the rift. Not to close it, to detonate it. Because where heroes hesitate, villains act. Inside the chaos dimension, Wanda turned. Her form no longer resembled a woman. She was a red silhouette of shifting emotion, memory, pain. At her feet knelt the Flash, still trapped, whispering names from broken timelines. She caressed his head like a mother. "They don't understand yet," she murmured. "But they will." The cannon fired. A beam of concentrated fusion light slammed into the rift. For one split second, everything stopped. Time froze. Magic cracked. Power levels flatlined. Even Superman dropped. And then came the scream. Not Wanda's. Reality itself. Across the multiverse, echoes fractured. Elseworlds bled into Earth, 616. Gotham flickered beside Sokovia. The Daily Planet overlapped with Stark Tower. An army of variant versions appeared. Alternate Iron Men, alternate Supermen, zombified Captain Americas, Joker-fused Deadpools, even a version of Wanda that wore the Batman cowl. No one understood what they were seeing. Not even Strange. The battle became chaos. Hawkeye shot arrows at himself. Wonder Woman was locked in a sword fight with her own multiversal twin, one who sided with Darkseid. Thor summoned a storm to strike 3 Captain Marvels at once. But in the center of it all, Tony was falling. His HUD was fried. The AI was gone. He couldn't see, couldn't breathe, only static. And then, Tony, the voice, soft, familiar, broken. He opened his eyes. Wanda stood over him. The real one. Not Chaos Wanda. Not some projection. A flicker of who she was, pulled together by her own fragmented soul. For a moment, just one, she looked like the woman who laughed at Pietro's jokes and wore red because it reminded her of home. "You were right," she whispered. "I was going to destroy everything." Tony reached for her hand. "Then let's fix it." But her hand passed through his. "You already did what you had to. Now I have to do what I must." A burst of crimson light exploded outward. All fighting stopped. Every hero turned. The rift had stabilized. The fractured echoes vanished. The bleeding timeline sealed. But Wanda was rising. Her form now pure energy, stripped of identity, stripped of ego. She had become the convergence point. Zatanna screamed in horror. She's going to merge every multiverse into one. Strange fell to his knees. She's trying to give us peace through singularity. Superman flew. Thor followed. Cap ran. Tony didn't move. Because only one person had a chance to stop her now. Vision. No one knew where he'd been. Broken since Westview. Lost since Wanda fell. But in the final moment, as she reached upward to the stars, trying to collapse all dimensions into one quiet, perfect silence, he appeared. Not in armor. Not with weapons. Just with memory. "Wanda," Vision said softly, "what you seek is not peace. It's protection." Her form paused. "You want to protect a world from pain, but you must allow it to feel." Tears formed in eyes she no longer had, and for a breath, everything was still. Then, Wanda let go. Her power collapsed inward. The rift sealed. The chaos bled out. The skies turned blue again, and Earth exhaled. But peace came with a cost. Flash was gone, sacrificed inside the rift. Zatanna was comatose. Batman's armor was cracked and bleeding. Thor had fallen unconscious. Superman hovered silently, mourning silently. And Wanda was dust in the wind. Not erased, not dead, transcended. Tony stood at the site where it all ended, watching ashes fall like snow. Cap walked beside him, shield dragging behind him, battered. "You think it's really over?" Cap asked. Tony didn't answer, because deep inside the multiverse, something woke up. A presence. One that had been watching all along, feeding. And its eyes were green. In Part 4, Doom enters the war. Everything ended, but nothing was over. In the days after Wanda's sacrifice, silence hung across the earth. Cities began to rebuild. Heroes retreated into shadows, and the world, broken, scorched, grieving, tried to believe the worst was behind them. It wasn't. Because in the heart of Latveria, inside a mountain surrounded by silence, Dr. Doom opened his eyes. He hadn't moved during the Rift War. Not a word. Not a signal. Not a spell. He watched, calculated, measured every consequence, every heartbeat of multiversal collapse. Where others screamed, Doom listened. And now the world was weakened, divided. Broken gods, scattered alliances, missing speedsters. Half the magical anchors burned out. Wanda's death left a vacuum of power, and Doom was already halfway through a plan to fill it. He stepped into the Nexus chamber. In his hand, a single shard of Wanda's chaos essence, stolen the moment her soul dispersed. In his other hand, a fragment of kryptonite, gifted by a universe that no longer existed. "Let the gods fight," Doom said to the dark. "Let the fools mourn. I will rebuild creation in my image." Back in New York, the Avengers had gone silent. Stark Tower was offline. Tony hadn't spoken in days. He spent every second replaying Vision's final words. Wanda was gone. The rift was sealed. But Strange had warned him. Sealing the rift didn't erase what leaked out. It only slowed it down. "You think we kept them out?" Strange said, shaking. "We locked them in." Superman was the only one still moving. He flew daily across the globe, repairing damage with his bare hands, helping civilians, lifting fallen bridges and crushed hospitals. But even he felt it, the air tighter, reality thinner. He hovered above the fortress of solitude, eyes closed, listening. And then he heard it, a sound that didn't belong, a voice that hadn't spoken in years. Doom, projected into his mind through telepathic frequencies only advanced Kryptonian tech could detect. "Kal-El," Doom's voice echoed. "The time for balance is over. You let children rule worlds. I will fix what you failed to protect." Superman blinked. Doom had found a way to reach the source wall. No one was supposed to access that. Not even the League. Back on Earth, a quiet panic began. Reports of flickering cities. Multiple suns rising. Villains showing up with powers they never had. Lex Luthor himself tried to teleport off-world and failed. Every exit sealed. Doctor Strange and Zatanna gathered the few remaining magical anchors. Half their team was gone. Flash still lost in the chaos dimension. Wanda dissolved. Raven was missing. Wiccan's powers had shut off entirely. And then the signal came. Doom hijacked every satellite, every screen, every device. His voice rang out across the planet. "You failed to rule yourselves. You warred like insects while the fabric of creation tore at the seams. You built empires on emotion and let grief steer your future. I will take the multiverse. I will mold it with absolute thought. And I will start with your gods." The screen cut to black, and then the source wall cracked. It wasn't possible. It wasn't even physical. But everyone felt it. A great soundless snap, like the moment a dam gives in a dream. Something came through. A being that shouldn't exist. It looked like Superman, but was made of pure negative space. Eyes like black holes, emitting no heat, no light. A null Superman. His name was Kal-El, and he had no origin, no morality, no restraint. He landed in Themyscira and reduced half the island to sand. Wonder Woman engaged him alone. She struck him with everything: blade, lasso, strength from gods older than language. He didn't bleed. He didn't flinch. He absorbed her power. Doom watched from the shadows, smiling beneath his mask. Kal-El was just the beginning. The source wall had given him access to possibility energy, the building blocks of what if. With it, he could construct anything. An army of never-were versions of heroes. Dark Thor wielding twin Mjolnirs. Batman Beyond fused with the Venom symbiote. A version of Hulk that never turned back into Banner. Doom was no longer interested in ruling Earth. He was building Earth Prime. One world to overwrite all others. Tony snapped out of his silence the moment he saw Themyscira fall. He loaded the Godbuster Mk3, tech banned even by S.H.I.E.L.D. for its ability to mimic divine power. But he knew it wasn't enough, so he did something reckless. He reached out to Reed Richards. "Victor's done it," Tony said. He breached source logic. Reed paused. "That's theoretical." "Not anymore." Reed looked at the collapsing world around him. "Then we're already late." They called it the Omega Protocol. Every genius, every strategist, every war general from every major world, Richards, Stark, Batman, Martian Manhunter, Shuri, Cyborg, united in one last desperate play. Not to kill Doom, but to outthink him. Because Doom wasn't making mistakes. He was rewriting the rules. He didn't need to win the battle. He was changing what it meant to win. And the only way to stop a god rewriting reality was to corrupt his code. In the final moments of Part 4, we return to the Nexus Realm, the place where Wanda died. Only now something's there. A heartbeat, red, pulsing, growing, and a whisper. You wanted my power, Doom. Now you'll choke on it. Wanda is returning, but not as Scarlet Witch. In Part 5, she rises as Chaos Mother. Doom thought he won. He rewrote the laws of physics, created his own multiversal army, cracked the source wall, and took control of possibility itself. One by one, the heroes fell or were forced underground. Superman had vanished after the battle in Themyscira. Diana was recovering. Hulk hadn't been seen since his variant clone broke Manhattan in half. But something moved beneath reality. A rhythm, a pulse. It started in silence, just a flicker, a heartbeat echoing from the ashes of Wanda's sacrifice. And then, with no warning, the multiverse screamed. Reality didn't shatter, it convulsed. Every timeline paused, like the cosmos was holding its breath. And then it arrived. A red storm. It burst from the Nexus Realm, devouring the air, unraveling shadows, and swallowing Doom's variant soldiers whole. The Venom Beyond Batman dissolved into strings of code. Cal VYR collapsed, screaming as his existence was rejected by something far older than thought. And in the eye of the storm, she stood. Wanda Maximoff reborn. Not the Scarlet Witch, not the grieving mother, not the broken girl. She had become Chaos Mother. Her eyes no longer glowed. They burned, twin galaxies swirling with every path that never happened. Her voice echoed before she spoke. When she moved, the wind didn't follow, it fled. Doctor Strange dropped his staff. She didn't survive the rift, he whispered. She became it. Across the world, every magic user fell to their knees. Even Zatanna, still recovering, felt her own spells rewrite themselves to honor Wanda's new law. Emotion is power. And Wanda was full of it. Tony launched into the air immediately. Not to attack, to intercept. Wanda listened. She didn't. With a flick of her hand, she collapsed his suit inward without touching him. The nanotech shrieked, ripping apart from the inside out. He barely ejected in time, tumbling through the air, crashing into the rubble of what used to be Avengers Tower. You used my pain to justify your war, Wanda said, floating past him. Now you'll feel it. Superman arrived next, faster than sound, but she caught him mid-charge, suspended him in air, and showed him every world he failed to save. 1,000 Lois Lanes dying, 1,000 Kryptons exploding, 1,000 Earths shattered. He fell to his knees, not from pain, but from overwhelming guilt. Power without responsibility is just destruction, she said. You all learned the wrong lesson. Doom appeared behind her, cloaked in cosmic armor, surrounded by 2 null lanterns and a corrupted Martian manhunter. His mask gleamed. You should have stayed dead. She turned slowly, smiled faintly, and blinked. Doom's armor liquefied. His lanterns screamed and vanished. Martian Manhunter looked at her, remembered who he was, and disintegrated himself. You're not the architect of destiny, she said to Doom. You're a thief in a temple you don't understand. He attacked with everything. Possibility blasts. Time-slicing shards. A black hole collapsed from his gauntlet. She walked through it. The black hole bowed. You stole my chaos, she whispered. Let me show you what real chaos is. With a wave, she tore open every version of Doom from every known reality, forcing him to face them all at once. Some were heroes. Some were monsters. Some were broken children. They screamed in unison. And then she said 2 words, no more Doom. Every variant blinked out of existence. Only one remained, the original. Now on his knees, mask cracked, terrified for the first time in his life. I was trying to save the multiverse, he croaked. Wanda looked down at him, and for a moment, pity flickered in her gaze. I know. And then she let him live, because killing Doom wouldn't make a point. Letting him live knowing he lost everything. That was chaos with purpose. With Doom defeated, the Nexus stabilized. The variant armies vanished. The source wall began to rebuild itself, brick by brick. soul by soul. But something else began to happen. Wanda looked upward, not at the sky, but at the veil above the multiverse. The hidden layer no being was ever meant to see. Her gaze pierced it, and she saw them. The true architects. The ones who watched, who manipulated, who reset worlds when they got too complicated. The writers. "Do you see it now?" she said, her voice echoing across dimensions. "We were always puppets. They gave us pain because it made good stories. Death, betrayal, war, all to keep the narrative alive. And in that moment, she made a choice. She tore through the veil. And for the first time in the history of storytelling, a character stepped outside the multiverse. Every screen went black. One message appeared. Chaos Mother has left the timeline. Then static. The world was silent. But deep in the shadows, something stirred. A flicker of green light. A whisper from a tomb untouched by doom, Wanda, or even the Source. And a hand with a ring. Darkseid is watching.